Uh, is this true about the difference between forgiveness and access? Is this true about the difference between forgiveness and access? I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip.
Forgiveness actually can be instantaneous. I think the problem often is that we keep making forgiveness a part of the conversation with access. Like, I can immediately say, I accept what happened for what it is. You violated, this is how I feel, and never talk to you again. I can make that decision and be mad the next day. I can make that decision and still be pressed for the next 3 months. The work that I have to do to be healthy after being transgressed has nothing to do with my ability to forgive the person. Like, I can forgive you immediately and still have a lifetime of work to do because that's how trauma works. Like, the healing doesn't come before forgiveness. Forgiveness is a decision to move forward despite whatever circumstance around you. You feel me? So when we had a conversation like, oh, what, how long? You talking about how long should I wait until I can be around this again? How long should I wait to feel safe around this person? That has nothing to do with forgiveness. Bro, if you have to start asking yourself how long should I wait to be around, you shouldn't. That ain't got nothing to do with forgiving nobody.
All right, yeah, hop into it. Is this true about the difference between forgiveness and access? Go ahead, Sweeney.
Um, you always throw me out there first, but I actually I agree with him. I think a lot of people do tend to attach forgiveness with having access to you, and the reality is, yes, I can forgive you from afar, and that don't mean I have to necessarily continue to deal with you at this moment, because then that means that I would have my own things that I need to go. You know what I mean? I have to, you know what I mean, work through before I actually have to deal with you at that level. Because just because I forgive you doesn't mean I have to trust you with my time. Doesn't mean I have to trust you with my presence anymore. Doesn't mean I have to trust you around, you know what I mean, around my in my space. So yeah, I'm in agreement with him.
All right. Go ahead, Trev.
I'm kind of torn on this one. I'm kind of torn on this one because, from what I understand, uh, forgiveness is on the lines with that. So, can you truly forgive someone if you feel like you can no longer have access? What's stopping you from giving that access? Have you truly forgiven them? Because from what I understand with forgiveness is, and it doesn't mean that you don't be anybody's, that you're going to be somebody's fool. If that's to happen again, then, that's a whole nother story. But if somebody did do you wrong, then why do you feel like you need time if you've truly forgiven them? That, from what I understand, forgiveness means that you really let it go and you just going to move on from whatever that transgression was. You truly forgiven them, I think you would probably have to give them complete access.
Can I go to after Trev?
What?
Nah,
Go
I
ahead.
get what.
Go ahead.
So with Trev, I think if you truly forgiven someone and everything they've done up to that point was a great quality person, I think that can make sense to give access to that person. But if you were dealing with someone that was already suspect and you already knew you were dealing with someone that showed a lower quality person and different characteristics of a person who's going to continue to have a failed relationship, I think forgiving them is making peace with the whole situation completely and allowing the person to go out of your life as well too. So it is not detrimental no longer to you, and it's not detrimental no longer to them. You give yourself space to be able to move away from that as well too, and possibly even go back to them or move on to a new person. But at least you let that person be able to work on themselves in case that person isn't capable of giving you what you need. I think sometimes giving not giving access allows someone to work on themselves if a relationship can be sustained. Because a lot of times if you truly love and forgive, there is some work that someone have to do with themselves before you can even continue to do an access relationship.
All right. Go ahead, Precious.
Hmm. So, is this true about the difference between?
You had all that time and you up here talking about some
I could go.
No,
I
she
think
got
that
it.
I think for forgiveness is not necessarily for the person who committed the transgression. Forgiveness is for the person it was committed to. So if I forgive you, it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to give you access. I also think it depends on what kind of relationship you're into. Um, because everybody don't deserve access. So I will go with it. It depends on the relationship because some people don't deserve access back into your life, but you can forgive them. You can, move on. You can go on with your life. You can wish them well. But I don't think that they need to necessarily hold a space in your life all the time. But if it comes to a relationship like a marriage, then I believe in forgiving and forgetting because I don't believe in divorce. So we gonna forgive and we gonna forget. But as far as relationships outside of that, I think that you can forgive somebody and I don't think that you have to give them access. I think that that's just a nice gesture and I think that, if you decide to, that's okay. But yeah, I think it's a relationship based situational.
So
All right,
I want to.
go ahead, Sweeney. Then we get the lady down.
I was gonna say I wanted to add some context, right? So to forgive is to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flow, or mistake. So I'm gonna push this back on Trev. So say for instance, you gave somebody access to your car, right? And they stole it. And let's assume for the sake of argument, you forgave them. You're no longer angry at them, you're no longer resentful to them. Would you give them your car again?
You want to answer the question?
Nah, not in that circumstance. No.
So basically, that's the example of to forgive but not give access to. You can forgive them and say, "Hey, look, I'm no longer mad at you for what you did, but that don't mean you're gonna be able to still drive my car." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, now
yeah.
let's go to what Precious was saying, right? So
Okay.
let's say it was cheating or something because it's circumstantial, like she was saying. So there are some people who could just forgive and then that's it. That you have access to everything that you did before.
Yeah, that is true.
But that's in a relationship. You already have access to the person. You just like, the way I see access is y'all are apart
True.
and they hitting you back up or they trying to come back into your life. And you're like, no, I forgive you for what you did, but there's no reason for us to talk or be around each other. Like I had a homeboy that stole from me a long time ago. I'm still cool with him. We can go out to a bar and just whatever, but we're not gonna hang out together. We can, chop it up every now and then, but that's an access thing. Like you can't come back into my life, so no, it's a big difference because your time and your resources are totally different. So forgiving somebody is really resources because at the end of the day, like your emotions is a part of your resources. And when you love somebody, care about somebody, trust somebody, like you trust somebody with your resources, with, with your heart, with money or whatever. So when you give them access to you again, now they have your resources again, possibly. And they can turn around and steal or hurt you again. So at the end of the day, that is the most important thing. And then at the same time is your time. Being around somebody that treated you like crap, you're wasting time.